Welcome back to Joe's Stun Unboxing. I was watching one of Lee's videos from Inside the Distance Boxing. A very good video he did, I think, yesterday. And he talked a bit about Campbell Hatton. And he kind of beat me to the punch because I wanted to do a video about Hatton. Because I think since his defeat to James Flint at the weekend, there's been a lot of people talking a lot of trash about him and kind of delighting in his downfall, shall we say. If indeed you can call it a downfall. I mean, a 23-year-old losing his unbeaten record don't sound very tragic to me. It just sounds like a learning curve. But some people have got it in for Hatton because of his, name. And I think there's several points to make. And the first one is, let's ask ourselves a question. Would Campbell Hatton have been signed by Eddie Hearn if he didn't have the surname Hatton? If he wasn't Ricky Hatton's kid? Of course not. He had no amateur background. He was a sort of project, if you like, with Hearn, is a project with Hearn, just to see how far he can go in the pro game. Can he ever be anywhere near as good as his dad? Evidently not, as far as I can see. But people are different. I mean, the sons have their own paths, their own journeys to go on. I hate that word journey. It sounds so sort of, reality TV. I went on a journey. It was a roller coaster, all this sort of bollocks. But I'm going to use the word anyway. But look, would he have been signed by Hearn? Would any promoter have paid attention to him if he was just some unknown kid with the talent level, not having had an amateur background? No, they wouldn't. They would not. He clearly, he's the son of a multi-millionaire. He clearly has been given the inside track. He's, it's very privileged. It's the whole silver spoon thing. I get it. And I also get the criticism that by putting Hatton on a card, especially a big card on DAZN or previously Sky, you're taking away an opportunity for a far better fighter, for a far more established fighter to be on those cards. Okay, that is a valid argument that I will listen to, and I will actually kind of agree with it. I can't really argue against it. However, let's be very clear about something. If you get in that ring, especially on national television, with hundreds of thousands of people watching, in an arena where you might have 20,000 people there, it's hell on earth if it goes wrong. It's you are revealed to be what you are, and all the stuff that comes out your mouth, all the piss and wind, all the social media crap, all the background about how your dad was this and your dad did that and blah, blah, blah. It means nothing, because once you're in that ring and that bell goes and punches are flying, it's down to you as just an individual human being to sink or swim. Now, Campbell Hatton had his 15th fight of the weekend and he lost it. He's 23 years old. He's a kid without any previous experience. Is he showing signs of being a future world champ? Far from it. Far from it. But he's got the guts to get in that ring, find himself knackered after 6 rounds. No, he's got another 4 rounds to go. Hang tough, swat punches, not quit. He's facing a guy who's 5 years older, 28-year-old James Flint. A guy who's probably got his man strength, whereas Hatton hasn't. A guy who's been around the houses a bit more experience. And I'm not just talking about boxing, I'm talking about life experience, which younger people don't seem to realise exactly what this is. If you go through life and you have experiences, and, they don't necessarily have to be boxing experiences. They can just be sort of interactions or incidents or, you can actually transfer those experiences into whatever it is, whether it's boxing or something else. There is no substitute for life experience. And Flint, being 28, it was man versus boy stuff. And do you know what? When all is said and done, this was for the Central Area title, the boy didn't do too bad. Because as I say, he hung tough. He was trying to win at the end. He wasn't just trying to survive. He didn't quit on his stool. He wasn't making excuses. Okay, afterwards he said, I thought it was a close fight and I could have won. No, I thought you lost, Campbell, definitely. But how many fighters say that? Yeah, it's a close fight. No, it weren't. you got your arse handed to you. And there were rounds that Hatton won. In the first 4 rounds, he looked pretty good. Yes, he's got a silver spoon. Yes, it's up to him to turn into the gold one. Just as it was with Conor Benn, just as it was with Chris Eubank Jr. But give the kid a chance. He's 23 years old. Now, do I think he's going to tear up some trees at world level? Like I say, no. But let me take you back in time a little way and give you an example of someone who, in my lifetime, I never, ever would have thought would go on to achieve what he achieved. And this is just one example. I could think of several, but I'm going to use this one example because I think it's a good one. Dennis Andrews, the former 3-time WBC light heavyweight champion. Now, Dennis Andrews, if you know anything about him, started with absolutely no privileges, none whatsoever. He turned pro in 1978. He lost his third fight on points to a journeyman with a losing record. He carried on, winning most against a very low-level domestic opposition, a draw. I think there was a draw in his early career. Les McAteer, who was a half-decent domestic-level fighter, a good fighter, he drew with him over 8. There was a 10-round loss to Bunny Johnson. If you know anything about British boxing over the last 50 years, you'll have heard of Bunny Johnson, former British champ. He also fought Tom Collins, who was a very good domestic-level light heavy. I think he fought him 4 or 5 times, and he only lost once. But he lost. The one that he lost was a 15-round decision for the British title. So Dennis Andrews going all the way up to, I don't know what it was, when he turned pro 78. When did he win his first title? I think it was, I know it was against J.B. Williamson, who was one of the worst world champions you're ever going to see. You know, he was terrible, J.B. Williamson. But he did hold the WBC title. And I think was it Frank Warren brought him over to Britain. This would have been about 86, I think it was, 85, 86. And it was a scrappy, ugly, mauling affair, but Andrews won the WBC title. It was a split decision, I think, and this was in, I can't remember what, I want to say London, but I might be wrong about that. Anyway, he won the title. This was after, a draw for the European title with Alex Blanchard. Like I say, Jose Says, he knocked him out in 3 rounds, actually, but that was a pretty good result. A string of fights, like I say, with Tom Collins, where he was winning most of them over 12 rounds. I think there were a couple of 12-round decisions, but he did lose for the British title. So when Tom had the title, he lost a 15-round decision. And, he was slugging away, and suddenly he got this opportunity, and he won his world title. He then defended it against Tony Simpson, who was really just a middleweight. And then what did he do? He went over to America to essentially cash in the title, which is how it was viewed. He fought Thomas Hearns, and he was on the floor I seem to remember him being on the floor about half a dozen times from the 6th round onwards. Hearns was beating the crap out of him. It was all technique. Andrews was a crude caveman slugger who just came in winging punches, slinging them everywhere. And Hearns stopped him in 10 rounds. But Andrews was getting up. He kept getting up. He kept getting knocked down. He kept getting up. What did he do after that? Having lost his world title, he went over to America, went over to the Kronk, and Emmanuel Stewart had him in with the 5-year-old kids working on his feet because he never learnt to box. So Stewart's attitude was, I'm going to take you, take your experience, all this experience you had, years, almost a decade of experience as a domestic level British fighter. You happen to pick up a WBC title against a weak champion, but we're going to start again. And in fact, from there on in, Emmanuel Stewart took Dennis to 2 further victories over for the WBC title. He also, before he won the title for the second time, he fought Bobby Ches, who's quite a well-known name, beat him over 10 rounds. That was a majority decision. He beat Tony Harrison, who was a decent gatekeeper. He was fighting these sort of Tony Willis was the guy. He beat Tony Willis, and I think that was. I want to say that was the second time he won the WBC title. He then lost it to Jeff Harding. They had a rematch. He won it back off Jeff Harding. That was a few fights later. He also won later on after he moved up to cruiserweight. He was British cruiserweight champion briefly. So Dennis Andrews, when you consider the first half of his career, or maybe the first 2/3 of it, nothing more, in inverted commas, nothing more than an overachieving domestic level fighter, went on to be a 3-time WBC champ. Okay, through sheer grit, through sheer determination, through overachieving, through hard work. If Campbell Hatton, with his limited talent, has the same attitude, I see no reason why he can't win Commonwealth title, maybe a British title, certainly an English title. Who knows, maybe more. The kid's 23 damn years old. That's nothing at all. So I say give Campbell Hatton a break here. Yes, he had lots of opportunities that he probably didn't deserve, but he got in that ring and he fought like a fighting man. He didn't quit. He just, James Flint, good luck to the guy, got the better of him. So what? Hatton will probably be a better fighter for that 10 rounds. So will Flint, by the way, because he knows he was in a fight. You ask James Flint if he was in a fight or not. He'll say, yeah, Campbell Hatton, he's got something about him. So those are my thoughts on Campbell Hatton. What do you think? I know some of you are very critical of Hatton, but I have great respect for anyone that gets in that ring and gives it 100%. I don't care whether it's a Central Area belt or whether it's an undisputed world title. If you give your all, you got my respect, because you're doing something I frankly could never do. Never had the temperament, never had the discipline, and probably never had the talent, although I'll never know. But I think that's true. These fighters, they do things that most of us can't do. So I say, don't be too harsh on Campbell Hatton. Give me your opinion, though, whether you agree or not. Comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Please do. Hit the subscribe button. It takes a second. And also the like button, that like thing. Give that a poke and all. Why not? All right, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate your time as always. Looking forward to reading your comments, and bye for now.